Have you ever felt betrayed, hurt, or abandoned by someone you trusted? You prayed, you waited, but nothing seemed to change. What if I told you God is already moving in ways you cannot see, quietly, powerfully, and perfectly timed? He is not unaware of your pain, nor indifferent to the actions of those who hurt you. In fact, He is orchestrating circumstances to restore your peace, protect your future, and deal with every injustice. Today, I want to reveal 7 powerful signs that God is taking care of those who have wronged. Signs you cannot afford to miss. Have you ever wondered why, despite all your prayers, it sometimes seems like those who hurt you continue without consequence? You watch as people betray, deceive, or mistreat others, and it feels like the world is silent. But what if I told you that God's justice rarely works the way we expect? It's not always immediate, and it doesn't always come in the way we imagine. Instead, it moves quietly, subtly, and with perfect precision. The very people who think they are escaping accountability often find that life begins to reveal the truth in ways that they cannot control. That is what I mean when I say unexpected justice appears. God is a God of order, of moral balance, and of divine timing. When someone wrongs you, it is easy to feel powerless. You may be tempted to retaliate, to speak harshly, or to take matters into your own hands. But the wisdom of God is far greater than our limited understanding. He knows the exact moment to intervene, the precise circumstances to allow, and the most effective way to reveal truth. When we wait in faith, when we maintain integrity, God often allows the natural consequences of someone's actions to unfold, not for vengeance, but for correction and revelation. This unexpected justice is not always dramatic. Sometimes it shows up as subtle shifts. A failed business deal, a broken relationship, a lost opportunity, or even an internal struggle that exposes the character of those who acted against you. And here's the beauty of it. You do not need to fight for it. You do not need to engineer it. God's justice works independently of human effort. While they are consumed by anxiety, confusion, or guilt, you are free to walk in peace, knowing that the situation is in divine hands. Psychologically, this is profound. When we resist the urge to retaliate, when we let go of bitterness, our minds find clarity. We begin to see the world as it truly is, a place where actions have consequences and where morality is ultimately upheld by forces far beyond what we can perceive. The lesson here is twofold. First, that patience in the face of injustice strengthens your character. Second, that God's intervention will always exceed anything we could accomplish on our own. Life often teaches the harshest lessons to those who inflict harm and in ways they cannot manipulate or avoid. Philosophically, this reminds us of a deeper truth. Justice is not always instantaneous, but it is inevitable when anchored in divine wisdom. We are part of a larger narrative, a universe ordered by moral principles that transcend human understanding. Those who attempt to undermine others often find themselves trapped by the very structures they tried to manipulate. And for the one who was wronged, this is a profound confirmation that integrity and faithfulness are never wasted. So the next time you feel powerless, the next time you see someone acting without apparent consequence, remember this: God's justice often arrives quietly, unexpectedly, and perfectly timed. You may not see it immediately, but every action carries weight, and every wrongdoing carries consequence. Trust that He is orchestrating events with precision and purpose, ensuring that truth will prevail and that your peace will remain intact even as the world seems chaotic. Never forget, the power of God's justice lies not in our ability to enforce it, but in His sovereign timing and flawless execution. When unexpected justice appears, it is not only a vindication of what is right, but also a profound reminder that God is always at work, even in the shadows. When someone hurts us, our first instinct is often anger. It rises like a storm within, demanding attention, seeking justice, sometimes even craving revenge. And yet, God calls us to a higher place, not to ignore the pain, but to allow His presence to transform it. Peace is not merely the absence of conflict. It is a profound internal state that signals the soul is aligned with God's wisdom. When He steps into your life, He replaces the chaos of resentment with a calm that cannot be explained by circumstance alone. This peace does not mean you deny what happened or pretend the pain doesn't exist. On the contrary, it is fully aware of the betrayal, fully conscious of the injustice. But instead of allowing your mind to spiral into bitterness, God gives you a serenity that keeps you grounded. Psychologically, this is revolutionary. Anger narrows your vision. It traps you in the past. It forces you to replay injustices endlessly. Peace, on the other hand, expands your consciousness. It allows you to see the situation with clarity, to discern truth from illusion, and to trust that the universe, guided by God, has a plan far beyond your immediate perception. Philosophically, this peace is a declaration of trust. It is the acknowledgement that God is the ultimate arbiter of justice and that His timing is perfect. While those who hurt you may be consumed by guilt, fear, or ambition, you walk in calm assurance. This is the paradox of divine justice. While they struggle, you prosper in spirit. Your peace becomes a silent testimony, a demonstration that God is working even when human eyes fail to see. It is far more powerful than any act of retaliation because it signals that your life is under divine protection. In practical terms, peace transforms your decisions. When anger dominates, we are prone to impulsive choices, to words and actions we may later regret. Peace, however, provides the clarity to respond with wisdom, not reaction. It allows us to step back, to observe, and to act from a place of strength rather than weakness. Those who attempt to harm you may think they hold power, but true power is reserved for the one who refuses to be consumed by negativity. Your tranquility, your calm, is a shield against the chaos they try to impose. Spiritually, this peace is a gift that nurtures resilience. Every time you choose patience over retaliation, forgiveness over bitterness, you cultivate a deeper connection with God. Your heart becomes a sanctuary, a place where divine presence dwells, unshaken by the storms of human cruelty. And here is the beauty of it. While the world is preoccupied with punishment, God's peace allows you to rise above, to remain untangled in the web of human malice, and to focus on what truly matters: growth, faith, and purpose. So the next time someone wrongs you, notice the choice you have to dwell in anger or to embrace the supernatural calm God offers. Understand that this peace is not passive. It is active, deliberate, and powerful. It is a weapon against despair, a light in the darkness, and a visible sign that your life is protected by forces beyond comprehension. While others are consumed by turmoil, your peace signals that God is in control, that He is orchestrating outcomes, and that your life cannot be shaken by human interference. Never underestimate the power of peace. It is proof that God is at work, that your integrity matters, and that your soul is being prepared for the fullness of His promises. When anger is replaced with peace, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become a witness to God's perfect plan. Life has a remarkable way of surprising us when we least expect it. Often, after we have been wronged or hurt, we focus so much on the pain and betrayal that we fail to notice the doors God is quietly opening for us. Opportunities appear not as a result of human planning or manipulation, but as a natural consequence of faith, patience, and integrity. What was once closed, seemingly inaccessible, begins to swing wide, revealing paths that we could not have imagined. This is one of the most profound ways God reminds us that He is working on our behalf, even when we cannot see the whole picture. Psychologically, this is a radical concept. When we are focused on revenge, on what went wrong, or on the injustice we have suffered, our minds become narrow, fixated on the past, and blind to new possibilities. But when we surrender to God's timing, when we allow faith to replace fear and bitterness, a subtle shift occurs. We become receptive to opportunities that were invisible before. A chance meeting, an unexpected job offer, a conversation that sparks a new idea. These are not coincidences, they are manifestations of divine orchestration. Every opportunity that arrives in such a way is carefully timed to elevate us, to bring healing, and to redirect the course of our lives toward fulfillment. Philosophically, the opening of opportunities illustrates a principle deeper than human effort. Alignment with God's purpose produces outcomes beyond our control. The people who sought to harm us may still be entangled in their schemes, while our lives move forward in ways that reflect divine favor. This is not luck, nor is it mere persistence. It is a spiritual principle. that when we walk in integrity and faith, life itself becomes a conduit for God's provision. Opportunities do not simply appear at random. They are signs that God is rewarding patience, honoring perseverance, and redirecting energy that might have been consumed by bitterness into growth and achievement. Spiritually, these opportunities are also a form of justice. While those who hurt you may be preoccupied with their own ambitions or consumed by unforeseen consequences of their actions, you begin to thrive in ways that are undeniable and transformative. The universe begins to rearrange itself to accommodate your growth, your peace, and your purpose. This is the subtle yet undeniable power of divine intervention. It does not always punish directly, but it elevates the one who trusts, allowing the natural course of life to reveal who truly prospers. Practically, this teaches us to remain vigilant and open. The doors that God opens may be unexpected, a project, a connection, or a new path, but they are always aligned with your growth and destiny. The challenge is to recognize these opportunities and act with courage and wisdom. Many miss these moments because they are still caught in resentment or doubt. But when we maintain a heart aligned with God, we begin to see the patterns of His favor, and we step into possibilities that change the trajectory of our lives. So the next time you are wrong, do not focus solely on the injury. Instead, look for the openings, the subtle shifts, the doors that begin to appear. God is never inactive. Even in silence, He is preparing a course for your life that is rich with potential. These opportunities are not just for advancement. They are signs that God is turning circumstances in your favor, creating blessings where there was once despair. Remember, every open door is a whisper from God, a sign that your faith is producing tangible results, and that the people who hurt you are powerless to prevent what He has ordained. Step through these opportunities boldly, for they are a testament to His love, His justice, and His perfect timing. When someone has wronged you, it is natural to feel vulnerable, as though the world has shifted against you. You may imagine their power, their schemes, and the influence they hold over circumstances. Yet what many fail to realize is that God is intimately aware of every plan, every strategy, and every intention that seeks to harm His children. In His wisdom, He allows these plans to unfold only to reveal their inherent fragility. Slowly, inevitably, what was meant to harm you begins to unravel, often in ways that those who devised it cannot comprehend. This is the profound truth behind the idea that their plans begin to fail. Psychologically, this is liberating. It teaches us that we are not powerless victims of circumstance. While anger and resentment may tempt us to act, to intervene, or to seek vengeance, God works behind the scenes to ensure that justice is not only served, but served in a way that aligns with His divine timing and purpose. Observing the failure of those who intended harm brings clarity and affirmation. Life itself, guided by God's wisdom, responds to integrity and faithfulness. Their failures are not coincidences. They are the natural consequence of attempting to manipulate forces greater than themselves. Philosophically, this speaks to a deeper principle of the universe. No destructive plan can succeed indefinitely against a life that is aligned with divine purpose. Every malicious intent carries within it the seeds of its own undoing. Those who plot against others may temporarily feel empowered, but the structures they attempt to manipulate are not theirs to control. God's providence ensures that their efforts collapse under the weight of their own miscalculations, their own deceit, or their own moral shortcomings. For the one who was wronged, this is a reminder that patience is not passive. It is a form of strength that allows natural and divine forces to work on your behalf. Spiritually, witnessing the failure of harmful plans is a confirmation of God's sovereignty. It is a reassurance that while human beings can scheme and conspire, the ultimate course of justice rests in His hands. This realization strengthens faith. It transforms fear into confidence, doubt into assurance, and anxiety into peace. While those who sought to harm you struggle with the consequences of their own actions, you are free to focus on your purpose, your growth, and your calling. Their failure becomes a silent testimony to God's intervention and a powerful illustration of His justice. From a practical perspective, the failure of harmful plans also teaches discernment. It encourages us to recognize that not every challenge or attack requires immediate response. Many times, God's method of correction is subtle and unseen. He allows circumstances to expose the weakness and vulnerability of those who act in malice. By observing without retaliation, by maintaining integrity, and by trusting in His timing, we position ourselves to benefit from the natural unfolding of divine justice. So, when you feel that someone is plotting against you, take heart. Do not allow fear or frustration to cloud your judgment. Understand that while they may believe they are in control, their plans are destined to fail under the weight of God's perfect wisdom and timing. What they intended for harm is being transformed into an opportunity for revelation, justice, and even blessing. Remember, the failure of their plans is not just an outcome, it is a message. It is proof that God is at work, that He sees every injustice, and that His timing is perfect. You do not need to fight. You only need to remain faithful, patient, and trusting. In the end, what was meant to destroy you will only serve to elevate you, strengthen your faith, and reveal the integrity of God's plan. When someone hurts you, there is a temptation to respond in kind, to mirror their actions with anger, resentment, or even revenge. Yet God calls us to a higher standard, a standard not defined by circumstance but by character. One of the most profound ways He works in the lives of those who have been wronged is by allowing their true nature to be revealed through their response, and simultaneously by letting the integrity of the person who suffers shine through. Your character, built through patience, humility, and faith, becomes a testament to God's power, a living demonstration that what is righteous and enduring cannot be shaken by human malice. Psychologically, this principle is transformative. When we maintain our composure and respond with dignity, we are not merely suppressing negative emotions, we are cultivating resilience. Anger narrows perception and clouds judgment, but integrity widens vision and clarifies purpose. Every moment in which you choose patience over retaliation, forgiveness over bitterness, you strengthen the foundation of your character. Others may attempt to define you by your response to hurt, but your character forged in adversity speaks louder than words ever could. Philosophically, the notion that your character shines through reveals a universal truth. Morality and virtue cannot be destroyed by the actions of others. The world may be unjust, but the inner life of a person committed to righteousness is invulnerable. Those who act in malice are bound by their own limitations, pride, short-sightedness, and impulsive reactions. Meanwhile, the one who responds with grace is elevated not just morally but spiritually. This is one of the subtle ways God ensures that true justice and divine favor are seen, even when immediate circumstances suggest otherwise. Spiritually, this is a call to trust that God's work is as much about shaping you as it is about correcting those who have caused harm. He uses adversity to refine your patience, to strengthen your wisdom, and to illuminate your capacity for compassion. Your response, guided by faith rather than impulse, becomes a reflection of divine truth. People will observe the difference, the one who spreads bitterness versus the one whose heart remains steadfast. In that observation, God's justice is revealed without the need for human intervention, and His glory is made visible through your conduct. From a practical perspective, allowing your character to shine creates influence. Integrity attracts opportunity, cultivates trust, and inspires others. While those who sought to harm you may be trapped in cycles of negativity, your life demonstrates the power of self-restraint and moral clarity. Your actions, measured and faithful, become a living testimony to God's sustaining presence and His ability to turn trials into triumphs. Every interaction, every decision made in alignment with virtue reinforces a narrative that cannot be silenced by deception or wrongdoing. So the next time someone wrongs you, resist the urge to conform to their methods. Remember that every moment of patience, every choice to act with integrity magnifies the strength of your character. While they are defined by what they do, you are defined by how you respond. Your composure, wisdom, and faithfulness will shine through the darkness of their malice, illuminating a path of righteousness that cannot be dimmed. Never forget, character is the ultimate form of influence. It is evidence that God is at work, molding and refining you, ensuring that your life becomes a testimony to His justice, love, and sovereignty. When your character shines through, it is proof that you are not merely surviving adversity. You are being transformed, elevated, and prepared for the fullness of God's plan. There is a truth that many struggle to grasp. God's timing is never early, never late, and never flawed. When we have been wronged, when we have endured betrayal or injustice, it is tempting to measure the effectiveness of divine intervention by our own schedule. We want results immediately, we want visible change now, and we often become restless when life seems stagnant. But God operates on a timeline far beyond human comprehension, and it is in this divine timing that justice, restoration, and resolution unfold perfectly. Understanding this principle is crucial for anyone seeking peace in the midst of hurt. Psychologically, impatience is a natural response to injustice. Our minds seek closure, our emotions demand recognition, and our hearts long for vindication. Yet, when we rush God's process, we often act prematurely, clouding judgment with frustration or bitterness. Divine timing calls us to patience, a patient trust that what is meant for your good is being orchestrated with precision. Every delay, every pause, every moment of apparent inactivity is purposeful. It is not neglect, it is preparation. God is aligning circumstances, positioning people, and orchestrating events so that when the outcome arrives, it is complete, unassailable, and perfectly just. Philosophically, divine timing reflects a universal order that transcends human understanding. The world is not chaotic. It is guided by principles that often remain unseen to those who act impulsively or out of selfish desire. When someone has sought to harm you, God does not immediately expose them in ways they cannot handle or reveal outcomes they are not prepared to face. Instead, He waits for the exact moment when their intentions, their schemes, and their own choices converge in a way that allows truth to emerge fully. This is why patience is not weakness, it is strength. It is confidence that the universe itself is aligned with justice, morality, and the wisdom of God. Spiritually, understanding divine timing cultivates faith. It teaches us that every act of malice, every betrayal, and every hurtful word is observed, and nothing escapes divine notice. God's timing ensures that those who have caused harm are confronted not by human effort, but by the natural and spiritual consequences of their actions. Meanwhile, the one who was wronged is prepared to receive the outcome with clarity, integrity, and grace. This is a profound lesson in trust, that God's plan is always more complete, more effective, and more righteous than anything we could orchestrate ourselves. Practically, divine timing encourages discernment. It reminds us that life unfolds in layers and that immediate results are not always indicators of ultimate justice. By allowing God to work according to His perfect schedule, we avoid unnecessary conflict, maintain peace of mind, and position ourselves to receive blessings in ways that are sustainable and transformative. The delays, the pauses, and even the frustrations are part of a larger design, a design that ultimately reveals God's wisdom, justice, and power. So when you feel impatience rising, when you long for the moment when wrongs are righted, remind yourself that God's timing is exact. The people who hurt you, the circumstances that seem unfair, the injustices that appear unresolved, all are part of a divine plan that will culminate in the right moment. What may seem like delay is actually preparation, ensuring that the outcome is perfect, undeniable, and lasting. Never forget, the power of divine timing is that it guarantees results that human effort cannot achieve. When God delivers, it is complete, it is just, and it is unmistakably His work. Trust in His timing, remain faithful in the waiting, and know that every act of patience positions you to witness the fulfillment of justice, restoration, and blessing in ways that exceed all expectation.